Good morning, everybody. Let's get this daily forecast in so we can see what the market did on Friday, compared to what we were talking about, and see what it's going to do today and this coming week. So looking at the dollar first on the hourly chart, let's go go to the daily. I was actually a little bearish on bullish on the dollar on Friday. As you can see, it basically opened and closed. We actually went up on Friday. I'm sorry, I was looking at today's already. Friday was bullish. We ended up having a small little pullback early in the morning, and then it just kind of slammed higher and stayed up all day long, which made the markets a little bit bearish. So that was a pretty decent call right there that we were going to remain bullish. You jump into slam into the hourly real quick. We had this nice little drop. We were very sideways for the first part of the morning. Then we had a little drop, and then it popped and it kind of stayed up and held that line all day long. We came back into this little structure right in here, and we ended up getting some news this morning from the euro, and it looks like we popped up pretty strongly before pulling back. Now we're right where we basically opened up here. So looking at this, we've made some highs. Let's see if we decide we're going to lose everything we took just then and start turning bearish. I won't believe it until we actually start getting below this guy and possibly even into below here. And that could be what we're looking at today. This is a pretty big move. It was because of the PMI coming out of the pound and the euro this morning. This week's going to be a very big news week. So really going over a lot of the technicals of the charts is really not going to amount to a whole lot. It'll give you some sense, but for the most part, the news is going to be the driver of the markets this week. And just be cautious with your trades, risk management. It needs to be really good this week. All right. So big move up, slight move back to the downside. Looks like we are trying to turn a little bearish. We're below the moving averages on the 15-minute. I like the 15-minute to kind of give me a sense of which direction the current market is looking. This right here is a very good taking push, like the word I'm looking for, inducement, right? Manipulation right there. We took out those stops and ran down, took out that liquidity and ran down, and now we're continuing to push lower. So it looks like the next target's going to be down there and possibly even this liquidity over here. So if we maintain a push, if that next push can get us below here, then I think we stay bearish. However, Dixie News has the dollar has its own PMI news coming out today at 9:45 Eastern time. So we'll go through market open before that news comes out. So there's no telling in which direction the market could be go. As of right now, I see this being a little bit of a bearish day for the dollar if it continues. The news PMI could be good for the dollar. We'll see at 9:45. As of right now, though, I think we're a little bit bearish on the day, and we'll see how that affects the market. Let's go to the euro. This was the euro news come out at 3 o'clock this morning, and then this right here, I really like this pattern. Right, dip into these stops, and then we push up. Immediately displacement in this area right here, breaking that structure. Then we get a pullback into that displacement, and then we take off. So this is the really bullish pattern that we could see some continuation out of today, unless the news decides to pull it back. And if the news decides to pull it back, we might see just a decent little range all day long. So let's see what we have there. The red line, if you don't know my charts, red line is the 21 EMA. The purple line is the 50 EMA. If you go back to the dollar, this blue line is the 8 EMA. So I like the moving averages on like the dollar. I use them in the Forex market. But when it comes to the futures market, I use the VWAP and the 21. But we'll get to all that in just a little bit. These three blue lines right here, this is the Monday range. It's not set yet. It will not be set until 6 p.m. tonight. So you really can't go too much by the outer lines during the day, but you can really trade from the median. So we are situated right at that median right now. So if we don't hold this and we start to pull back, then I would consider this to be bearish, especially if we start losing the moving averages and breaking down through structure. However, having just said that this is a very bullish pattern and we break back up, then we could see a hold of this median and a continuation to the midnight candle, which is what true day open means. Get a drink. All right. While we're here, we also have the pound news obviously come out. But again, we've got a nice return into some bullishness here. So we just have to see what the US PMI does at 9:45 when it comes to Forex. I think the main move happened during the London session, which it usually does. And we've got the London highs here and the London lows, which is right now the entire Monday range. We took out the Asian highs to the top side, and then we went bearish, took out the Asian lows. So now I would be looking for either a continuation on one end or the other, depending on which direction news happens. But I really want to look at the Aussie dollar. The reason I want to look at the Aussie dollar is because the Aussie tonight has their CPI at 9:30 Eastern time. So this could be a good mover in this market. And it looks like, let me go to a monthly. Yeah, way down here where the dollar's been pretty strong over the Aussie. And it looks like they're calling for some bad numbers compared to normal. Everything lower, so that could mean bad for the Aussie. Even if it hits those numbers, it still means that they're going to be lower. However, if it beats those numbers, that'll be a good sign. So this is looking kind of like a bullish little setup here. I do like the fact that we've taken out these relative equal lows into this stop, immediately rejected and came up. However, we did not take these highs. And it looks like that bullish run stopped right there. And then we started moving way back down, broke that structure, looking right back in here. So this is kind of going to be the question mark for the day, right? Which direction? And again, on the monthly, we do look a little bullish for the month. And that will probably have no bearing on the news today. So let's drop into the weekly. So we were in a fairly bearish market. We had a huge run down, an immediate move back up, and we're kind of right here in this inefficiency right now. So honestly, this is still looking a little bullish to me, but not confident in it because of the news. But on a weekly basis, we could see a little push down today and then a recovery for the rest of the week, causing this to keep tightening up right in there. And then if we get a breakout, then we can see some bullishness. But needs to break this, needs to break that too. This is a nice little move to the upside that actually took out these highs. So I could see this being the most important point in which to turn this market around to the bullish side. But that's going to take a while. Let's look at the daily. There you go. So very much in a range, right? We did take these lows out. We have come back up, made a higher low compared to this guy, and then relative equal highs right here. And then a good pullback the last few days because the dollar has been that strong. So we are in an area in which we could bounce right here. I'm really just, I keep saying bullishness. Everything looks pretty bullish, right? Lower, a low and then a higher low. We had a higher high right here. This is a relative equal high, but this move may not be done. If you pull a fib from the bottom of this area right in here to right here, you're probably situated at around the 62 to 70%, which is a good OTE. So we have inefficiency that it's covering right now. We are above the 21. It's above the 50 on the moving averages. So, I mean, a lot of this is giving me some good signs for some bullishness. So if the news comes out and Aussie ends up beating its CPI numbers this afternoon, then this could skyrocket. All right, let's drop into the hourly. You'll start seeing these Asia highs and Asia lows. And I mean, look at this. Nice curling. Nice. Curling action right here is obviously bullish in my eyes. We have reached up into this area right here, immediately rejected from it. So it looks like we could get a pullback. But to me, I think the Aussie is bullish. I think we watch price action. It's probably going to range today. And when news comes out, that's really going to determine the direction of the Aussie. So tonight at 9:30 Eastern time, when Aussie CPI data comes out, I think that's going to be a good time to be at the markets and trading this market. And not only this market, but one of my old favorites, the Euro Aussie as well. So the Euros number were positive. As you can see, the Aussie being pretty weak. Go to the daily on this. So yeah, we dropped in here, got this low. We are at a higher area than what we were with the Aussie dollar, but if you just look at this pattern and take away the rest of the context, I mean, I feel like it looks exactly the same. So it's some weak numbers for the euro, and that's the reason why we have bearishness right here. And I mean, I know this pattern right here looks fairly bullish, but we are at a very big high. We did take out these highs right here. We did get bad numbers from the euro, and depending on what the Aussie numbers come out as, yeah, this looks fairly bearish. So we'll see how much we make up during the day. We've got a lot of inefficiency right in here. This could come all the way back up to the midnight, which is the true day candle, and then turn south. But I think the monthly right here would be a good target. And then obviously taking out London lows, which it really technically took out right there. But we will pay attention to this currency tonight as well. All right, let's go on to the gold. Let's do gold and oil. I think I said I was bearish on gold the other day, but bullish on oil. So we'll see how that worked out. As you can see, gold was very bearish on Friday. We took out that pretty confidently, came down into here, into this structure, pulled back, actually recovered the 8 EMA right there, and looks like we pulled down and then back up overnight. But this could easily continue its bullish trend, right, from this area. But we could also keep pulling back. The fact that we lost this median right here, I think we remain. Really depends on news with the dollar, but until Wednesday, I don't think we make highs or anything. I think we just kind of stay in this little area, but you never know, right? Let's go to the hourly. See what the hourly looks like. Pretty bullish on the hourly, just by first glance. Right here at the top of this structure, I like this candle pattern right here where we drop down and immediately rejected. So looks like we're going to keep pushing up a little bit. But I would love to see this get taken out. That's some buy side for a continuation to the bullish side. So up until this point, we're just kind of in this range. If you go to a lower time frame, you would be able to find some trading going on right now, especially like 15-minute chart. I got a pretty straight line right there, so we might give up some more. Liquidity, that's what this took. We come back down, retested, and then slammed higher. Now it seems like we're building liquidity to the bottom side of us. So the fact that we had this nice pullback here, we could see another little pullback into this median, gets into that inefficiency right in there. and then a continuation higher. This might be a decent little target over the next day or so to look for with gold if it continues to be bullish. Drop into a 5-minute chart. Yeah. Yeah, I think currently gold is going to come back down into this daily. I know that's just drawing a line out there following the moving averages, but I've always said trend lines are only on your chart, no one else's. If it allows you to see the market differently or a little bit better in a confident way, then go ahead and put it out there. We're starting to get across to that 8 and the 21 right there on the 5-minute, which is could indicate some more downside. Yeah, I think right now the daily would be a good target. If we end up breaking this, then we come down lower. So this is going to kind of be the area in which I would be paying attention to. So if we lose the daily and we drop into here and we lose it, then we're going to be bearish for the time being, at least the next day or so. If we end up holding this or holding this, then we will bounce. Buy side liquidity would be the target. Go to oil. All right, oil. Daily, we were bullish on oil on Friday, and as you can see, look at that big bullish candle right there. Huge bullish day on Friday for oil. Unfortunately for gas prices, right? But look, this is just trash. You really have to get into the lower time frames in order to really trade oil. Obviously, this is not one of those like I'm going to hold here and sell way up here because if you have a good idea of which what the day is going to do, then you can probably make a decent daily trade with it. But to me, I would just basically scalp oil. So bullish day on Friday, come up. We took these highs overnight. As you see, we pulled back into this median once more, almost, and then pulled all the way back up. So into this, what looks like a weekly. Is it the weekly or is it the monthly? Consequent encroachment? No. Is it a weekly consequent encroachment? No. 4 hour? No, it's a 4 hour. Yeah. 4 hour mean threshold. And it looks like we pulled right up into it and almost, right? So we're eyeing that right now. But yeah, some continued bullishness out of oil. Well, I mean, we might see a slight pullback from this huge candle right here on the 4 hour, down into the median of the Monday range, maybe even the daily, but I think this continues. So today might be a little bearish for most part, but I think overall we're going to continue to be a little bullish and be high, be up and continue to push towards 78, 50, 79. Got some buy side up here at 81. Yeah, if we take out this mean threshold, the yearly number is going to get hit. And then we've got this big candle we could split in half if we wanted to. This guy right here. So that's around 79. Overall, 81 being up here, 81.45. But I think then over the next week, this area is probably going to be attacked by oil. So the only hesitation I have is the fact that we do have a pretty good straight line right there, body to body to body right there, right? Which could indicate a breakdown there. So if we lose that trend line, I'm going to make that trend line a little thicker. There you go. On the 4 hours, pretty good little trend line, right? Bodies. Nothing has closed below that trend line since Monday last week. I mean, nothing is closed below this line right here. But the trend line, nothing has closed below it. All right. And the trend line stretching all the way back to Monday of last week. So we could get a pullback into it. If we break it, then I would show some downside to oil. But if we continue to trend upwards, then yeah, then we're going to trend upwards. All right, let's go into the futures. Futures on the daily Friday was this bearish candle. Let me get rid of that. Was this bearish candle right here? We kind of popped up. We were bullish some of the day, and then we sold off, right? So, and now we're starting down here. We have some inefficiency above it, but I'm still looking at this structure line to be hit. That's what I'm looking at. Hang on. Yeah, I'm still looking at this structure line right here to be hit. I really feel like this is an area in which, one, it clears out the inefficiency here for the most part, and there's inefficiency below it. But I feel like this is the first area of structure that needs to be hit before we can consider there to be a good bounce. If we don't touch this, then this will always be sitting right there. And I think any push to the upside will eventually result in something coming down and getting to it before then moving. Now, why do I like the structure so much? Well, if you come all the way right here, right? Structure line, touched it perfectly. Didn't close below it, pushed from there. And, I feel that pointing out structures like this are super important. And I will always not necessarily trade off of structure, but I will definitely have structure on my charts. I mean, you look right there. Where did price come to and stop? Structure. Didn't close above it for 4 or 5 days. And then we broke through it. And look what happened when we broke through it. So this is that's the reason why I always consider structure to be pretty important. And I've always liked support and resistance in that way for those reasons. There is inefficiency below it. We do have a nice little area right here where these candles did not close above, where this candle wicked to. I do have a structure line right there on it, and I'm waiting for it to get there too because it's situated with some inefficiency. But this right here is the first line of defense, right? So price should get down in here today. We do, again, have some news driving it with PMI at 945. So the market open will happen first. And just my thoughts on market open is that we get a push up and then we break down. And that's just what I think is going to happen at the beginning of market open. I think the beginning of this week, we give a little bit more from the end of this past week. We're going to give a little bit more, and then we're going to break to higher. And then we're going to break higher by the end of the week. Let's drop into the hourly. All right. So structure, look where it didn't close. Beautiful. All right. And then we sold off from there on Friday. That's as high as we went. And then we sold off from there. Made this other little high right here. And then we sold off from there. And now on the hourly, we can look at this guy. Might be the target for where price gets to before it rolls over and comes down for the structure for today. So price comes back to the daily open, market opens, slams higher to the mean threshold, and then sells off from there, taking out this liquidity. And then overnight, we might see this right here. So those are my thoughts on the NQ. So I think, possibly an early push, and then overall during the day, I think we sell off. Let's go to the ES. Yeah, somewhat similar, and obviously looking way more bearish. And this nice head and shoulders pattern that did play out, and then we return back into this shoulder, all of this structure, which you can look at this bullish candle right here drop a nice mean threshold on it and look at where price basically got to, but didn't close above before rolling back over and selling off. This price comes up, rolls over and sells off, and it looks like that's where we are right now. So we almost got back to that mean threshold before selling. So I do think, again, same thing with this as the NQ. We trickle down some more. Market opens, we get a push up, and then I think we sell off the rest of the day. This is that opening gap on, I think, the weekly or the monthly. I think we had a huge opening gap right here. And we've traded through that back into it. Looks like we're playing with it some more right now. So I do think that price is going to work its way down into it. We've got sell side liquidity here. We've got some structure right here we can look at. It looks like it played with this structure, as you can see, which is basically the 50% of that gap. But again, I think right now we keep trickling down. Market opens, we push, and then we sell off the rest of the day. So those are my thoughts on all the markets that I'll be looking at today. So be careful. Again, we have U.S. dollar news at 9:45 Eastern this morning. It's flash manufacturing PMI, flash services PMI. It could give the market a good little bump. And then the rest of the news, the rest of the week, it's a lot of news. Consumer confidence, Aussie CPI. Oh, the Aussie CPI is Tuesday, not tonight. And then new home sales, FOMC statement, and the funds rate on Wednesday. Huge day on Wednesday. Thursday, another huge day on Thursday because we got the GDP coming out, unemployment claims, Euro monetary policy statement, Japanese monetary policy statement that night, and it's now tentative. And so, it could be tonight, tomorrow, could be next week. And then Friday, we also have PCE and employment cost index and consumer sentiment again on Friday. So big news week. You can look at these technicals and take it for what you want, for what it's worth. But honestly, I think the news is going to be driving the direction of the markets this week. So it could force a lot of the futures markets and stuff to give back a lot of the gains that it's made, depending. The statement is projected to move 1/4 point, which would be very dollar heavy and dollar strong, which means the futures markets and stuff would probably drop from there. So we'll see. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Be safe, be careful, and I'll see you tomorrow.